guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to take this and turn it into these super cute little gnome sheepdogs. If you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Okay guys, for this gnome, you're going to need the pattern. It's in the description below. You need some faux fur, some weighted beads, some polyfill, some ribbon, 2 corks, a sock, a piece of foam, a nose, and some fleece. All right, let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out our pattern. Make sure that your the mat of the fabric is going down. Turn it over, and we are going to cut a 6.5 by 7.5 square, and this is going to be the main body. So we'll go ahead and pin that on, and I've already cut some from this faux fur, so I'm really going to have to only cut 2 sides, and we're going to cut just behind the faux fur all the way across and up the other side, and this is going to be our body. All right, once you get that all cut out, then we're going to go ahead and clean that up. We're going to take a comb and just comb out the excess fur, get it all cleaned up, so we can start working with it. Then we're going to take the, that's a 6.5 by 7.5, and we're going to take the 7.5 inch side, and we're going to pull that hair into the inside part, because we are going to fold this over and glue it down. So make sure all that hair is smooth and flat, so that when we pull that over to the top to glue it down, you don't have any on the outside. Okay, we're just going to take that, and you can pin this if you want to. It just goes straight down the edge with the glue, and we're going to glue it shut. And make sure you use plenty of glue, because you don't want this thing coming open. We are going to use a sock for the fill, so don't worry about if it does come open a little bit. But let's just try to get that sealed in there really, really well. Okay, and while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and put that aside, and we're going to go ahead and start making our ears. We're going to make sure that our fur goes downward, and the pointy part of the top of the ear is on the top part of the fabric that's going down. We're going to go ahead and cut that out. And we are going to cut 2 of these. So just go ahead and cut that out of that faux fur, cutting only the backing only, not through the faux fur. And then we're going to go ahead and cut one exactly like it. Make sure that that fabric, the mat is going down. Go ahead and cut that one out too. Just again, we're just going behind the faux fur, not through the faux fur. And we are going to trim this a little bit after we're done. But just try to get it really, really close just to the backing only. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put that aside, and we're going to go ahead and cut our fleece. We're going to cut 2 of the smaller ears out of the fleece, and these are going to be the inside part of our ears. So we're going to cut both of those out together just to save some time. Now we're going to go ahead and take our, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that you are going to need some pipe cleaners. Now we're going to take our fabric, and we are going to fold it in 1/4 of an inch all the way around. If you have a sewing machine, you could have just cut 2 more pieces out of the same one that you cut the faux fur out of, sewed them together, and then turn them right side out. But since we're not using a sewing machine and we're using a glue gun, we're just going to have to do it this way. So we're going to go ahead and make our seam folded in 1/4 inch all the way down, not on the bottom, just on the sides. And then we're going to attach our pipe cleaner in the center so that we'll have a bendability in our ear. Just fold that pipe cleaner in half. We're going to go ahead and glue that down. And then we're going to take our fleece and go over the top of it, and that's what's going to seal that ear completely up. Okay, and then just take your fleece, and we're just going to go around the outside edges of it only. Don't go through the middle of it, because you don't want to put too much glue on it, because you don't want it to be seen. So just go around the outside edges only, and then we're going to attach that over the top of that furry ear. And that's going to be the inside part of our ear. Okay, get that glued on really, really well, and then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other side. We're going to take it, and we are going to fold it in 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And then we are going to add our pipe cleaner on this one as well, and then put our fleece on top of that. Just make sure you get that good and glued in, because you don't want to see it from the back side of the ear. Okay, then we're going to take our pipe cleaner like we did the other one. Go ahead and glue it right on in there. And then we're going to attach our fleece inner ear to that by gluing the outside edges of the fleece only. You don't have to do the bottom, just the top, the sides I mean, and then glue that on. All right, now we're going to go ahead and just trim those edges off. Just leave probably about a 1/2 inch on those pipe cleaners and cut those off. All right, we're going to go ahead and start attaching the bottom. Tuck all your fur from the bottom inside of the body. And we're going to attach our 3-inch circle to the bottom. And you will have to stretch this a little bit. If you think it's bunched up a little bit, open up your open up the bottom of the fabric a little bit more. Stretch it open, and you'll see that that 3-inch circle will fit on there. See how I'm holding it there? And just get that really, really pinned in. Then we're going to go ahead and glue it. And we're going to start removing our pins as we glue it because you do not want to get your pins glued in. So just right around the outside edges, get that bottom glued in. And this is just to give it a nice bottom of it. We are actually going to put a sock inside of it with the polyfill. So if you don't get it exactly perfect, don't worry because this is not going to hold the beads. It's just to give it a nice polished off end at the end. Okay, so just continue to glue all the way around the edges. And keep removing your pins as you go because you do not want to glue your pins in. And if you have the little fingers, so keep the heat from the glue gun touching your skin because it does ooze out just a little bit, or mine did. Maybe I was just adding a little bit too much glue, but it did get a little bit hot. All right, get that all glued in. Once we glue that in, we're going to go ahead and set that aside to dry really, really well. And then we're going to go ahead and do the legs and the tail. We're going to go ahead and cut those out of the faux fur. Again, make sure that the nap is going down because you want it to flow nicely. So go ahead and this is going to be the tail, and it's a 2 by 5 inch strip, and we're just going to cut that out, cutting behind the faux fur only. Okay, then just go ahead and put that aside, and we're going to go ahead and cut out the top part of his bangs and the 2 pieces for his feet. They're going to be the same size. They're 1 inch by 3 inch. And we're going to cut all 3 strips out just behind the faux fur only with the fur going downwards. Okay, you're going to do that one, and you're going to do 2 more just like it. And these 2 are going to be for the legs or this back paws. And then we're going to do 2 for his front paws. And the 2 for his front paws measure 1 by 2.5 inches. So if you don't want to cut out the pattern and use it, you can just take a ruler and mark it off. But this one is 1 by 2.5. And you are going to need 2 of these for his front paws. We're just getting everything cut out together so that we only have one time to cut it out, and we can start assembling it. Cutting on the back of the fur only. All right, now we got all of our pattern pieces cut out. We're going to go ahead and clean them up a little bit, get all the extra faux fur off of them. And I'm using a faux fur that is like 1.5 inch nap. I got this at the Hobby Lobby, and I will give you a link for it below. Okay, we're going to take his ears, and we're going to open them up. Go down the middle and open them up. Comb them on the out, and then we are going to take a basket and take them in, and we are just going to shape them. You don't have to cut a lot of them off, but we are going to shape them because we don't want them so furry. So just go all the way around and get that trimmed off. And if you do it like where you do it down the middle and fan it out, it won't look so cut up. Comb it out, and then take your hand and just rub it down the middle of it, and it will make it really nice and furry. Then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Go ahead and cut that end off as well. Don't cut your pipe cleaner though. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Just split it down the middle and fan that out. And then we're going to take our scissors and we're just going to trim it out. I'm probably trimming it about 1/2 inch into the ear. And that ought to be plenty. And then go ahead and trim off the bottom as well. Just make sure it's kind of even. All right, now that you got those all ready to go, just kind of smooth them out. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start doing our body again. We're going to take our body, turn it right side out, and we're going to go ahead and start filling it. We're going to take our sock, and you can take any kind of sock you want to. We're just going to take it and put any sock in there, and then we are going to trim it off to the height of the fur. So go ahead and attach your sock. It'll be easier to do it this way than try to put a weighted bead sock inside of it. And then I probably put about a 1/2 of a cup of the fill, and then I'm going to fill the rest of it with polyfill. So the weighted beads, probably about a 1/2 cup. Okay, and then go ahead and put that all the way down. We're going to go up to about 1/2 inch from the very, very top edge. And then we're going to go ahead and tie our sock off. And then we're going to cut the top of our sock off and we're going to glue it down. So just go ahead and attach that. And then we are going to cut that off. Then we're going to pull that on out a little bit and we are going to glue that edge to the sock itself. Just pull it open there, glue it all the way around. And then we're going to put a little bit of dab of glue right in the very, very center just to hold that all together. So right in the center, just glue it in there. And you're not going to see any of this because we're going to stuff it right back down into our fur. Okay, once you get it down into our fur, we are going to close this up. Not completely, we're going to leave a little bit of room open at the back because we are going to put our ears in here in the front. Go ahead and bend your ears over. We're going to glue those into the front. And then we are going to go ahead and take our needle and thread. We're going to go ahead and stitch about 1/4 inch all the way around to close up this casing. Starting at the very, very back, we're just going to go in and out all the way around about 1/4 inch till we get it all the way around. And this is what's going to hold our sock in, and then we're going to glue it. We're not going to squeeze it completely shut. We're just going to put it almost shut, and we're going to go ahead and attach our ears to the front, glue them into the front, space them out evenly. Find your seam in the back because you want to make sure you're at the front. And we're just going to glue those side by side into the front, and then we're going to finish gathering up the top part. So just put a little bit of glue on the pipe cleaner and the ear, and we are going to tuck that into the very, very front. And we're going to do that on both ears. Just make sure you get enough glue in there to hold them in. And then we're going to glue them some more here in a minute. So don't worry if you don't get enough glue. We will get enough glue in there. All right, then we're going to go ahead and take our string in the back, and we are going to tie that shut. Just about hand strength shut, and then tie that off. Just to gather it up a little bit to make it kind of rounded at the top. And then we are going to glue the back flat. So we're going to take our back where it's opened up, glue all the way across, and flatten that down. And it's not going to look squared off. Don't worry about it. We are going to glue it down. Then we're going to open up the ears. There's going to be a gap in the middle. And we're going to close that gap up as well. And that will close your entire sock up in there. All right. Now that dries, we're going to go ahead and attach his eyebrows, I would call them. Go ahead and glue across that 1 by 3 inch strip. We're going to fold it over at the top so it has a finished out edge on it. And then we're going to glue that right up to the bottom part of the ears on the top of his body. All right, so we're going to go ahead and comb that out, get all that excess fur off of there, and then we're going to glue it right across the edge, right up underneath his ears. Just put several strips of glue on there and then glue that on. And that's kind of going to go like covers up his eyes, kind of like a sheepdog. Okay, once you got that on there, we're going to let that dry really, really good. And then we're going to go ahead and attach his nose. We're going to take right below the part we just did, split it down the middle and comb out on both sides. And that's where our nose is going to go, just below that piece that we just put on there. So there's our black pom-pom. It's a 3/4 inch pom-pom. You just put a little glue right there in the middle and attach that pom-pom right there. All right, now we're going to let that dry really, really good. We're going to go ahead and cut out his tongue. I just got a piece of craft foam. I don't have a pattern for this. We're just going to go down and curve around just to kind of make a tongue. You can make a skinny tongue, a fatter tongue, whatever you want to do. And then we're just going to stick that right down there a little bit below his nose. Just kind of open it up in there and attach it right there. I'm going to cut mine off a little bit shorter because it was a little bit long. And then we're going to glue that in. Just attach a piece of glue around the top part of it, and then just stick that up underneath that fur. And there's his tongue. And now we're going to put him aside. We're going to go ahead and build his feet. we're going to take the 1 inch by 3 inch pieces, and we are going to cut a piece of cork 1/2 inch to roll up in there. And that's going to be our back paws. I keep saying feet, but it's paws. I'm going to cut 2 of those at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to glue those into the edge of those pieces of faux fur. And those are 1 by 3 on those. We're just going to roll that up. Get that glued on there really, really well on both of them. And then we're going to come back and we're going to seal up the bottom part of them. Just go across there, roll them up. And then we're going to take them and we are going to glue in the inside to cover up that cork. So just attach a lot of glue on the inside. Just go round and round and round. And then we're just going to squeeze that closed. And we're going to do the same thing for the other one. And that's going to be his back paws. And then we're going to do the same thing for the front paws. We are going to take a 1 by 2.5 inch strip. And we are going to cut our cork at 1/4 inch. We don't want the arms, the front paws to be as bulky because we need those to lay a little bit more flush. So about 1/4 inch on that cork, and you can use a button or whatever. I'm just using a cork because I have them. Just go make a strip across there and we're going to roll that up. And this is going to meet more flush in the back. It's not going to overlap so much, but that's going to be the bottom of your paw when you actually attach it. Just go across there and we're just going to roll those up. And then we're going to go ahead and put glue in the center and squeeze those shut just like we did on the feet. Just go round and round with the glue and squeeze it shut. And we're going to do that on both of them. Okay, then we're going to take his feet and we are going to fan them out. Kind of like a leaf all the way around. Just the feet. We're not going to do it with the hands. We're going to take our basket and we are just going to trim all the way around just to kind of get it a little bit more even. Not real short, just trim it around there. Same thing with the other foot. Other paw. We're just going to open that up, kind of fan it out like a leaf. And then trim around. I'm only probably cutting off maybe 1/2 to 3/8 of an inch at the most. All right, now that we got those all cleaned up, kind of fan them out a little bit, fluff them up, and then we're going to attach them to our body. Okay, we're just going to take the fur and just pull it back on the front, probably about 1/2 inch up. And we're going to attach our feet down at the bottom. Okay, we're just going to attach them right there and right there. And then we're just going to take glue it on there really, really well. Make sure you get plenty of glue. And your fur will cover up any kind of glue. If you got any glue excess on there, you're not going to see it because all that fur is going to cover it up. And then we're going to do that for both legs. Both paws. And you might just stand him up to make sure that you're not below where he's going to tilt so that you make sure he's level. All right, now we got those done. We're going to go ahead and attach his front paws. We're just going to come right below where we spread out his little whisker area. And then we're going to pull those down like he's got his paws facing downwards. And we're just going to attach them to the body. Same way, just add a dollop of glue. Again, if you get a little bit too much, it's not going to matter because you're not going to see it. Just hold that till it dries, and we're going to do the same thing for the other one. So give a pretty good amount of glue on there because you want it to stay. All right, we're going to put that aside, and we're going to go ahead and build his tail. And his tail is 2 inches by 5 inches. We're just going to take a needle and thread. We are going to fold that in half, and we are going to stitch that together about 1/4 inch in and out all the way down. And then we are going to gather his tail so we can attach it. Just about 1/4 inch stitches. All the way down. And then after we get that to the end, we're just going to pull that together and we are going to gather that up, and that's going to be his tail. Get it gathered up really, really good and then tie that closed. And I'm using a pretty thick thread because I don't want to pull it and it pop. So I'm using a more of a heavy duty thread on this and the other areas that we stitched, the top part. Okay, get that all glued on, pulled together, and then fluff out the tail, and then we're just going to glue it on. Just spread that out a little bit in the back, and then we're just going to attach his tail right there. All right, while that tail dries, we're going to go ahead and do his ribbon for the top part of his head. Just tie a little bitty bow. And I'm just using a black and white check. You use whatever you like. Just trim that off, and then we are going to attach that to the top of his head. All right, and that's pretty much it. Just glue that right on there, and we are pretty much done. All right, if you like this video, hit like. If you want to see future videos, hit subscribe. And if you want to know when I have a new video, be sure and hit the bell. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.